Hi, this is Kari Wahlgren, and you're listening to the FSF Podcast.
Hey guys, welcome to the FSF Podcast. I'm Tim, I'm your host, and of course with me today is my ever trusty sidekick, the one, the only, the Kathleen.
Why do I feel like trusty sidekick? Now I feel like I'm Barf the dog from Spaceballs. I am my own best friend.
You're still a compliment. You're welcome.
Can I throw that in? I love that movie. Sorry, keep going, but we'll talk.
Anyway, so our guest today is an extremely talented voice actress who's won multiple awards as the Voice Actress of the Year and whose resume is longer than both of my arms combined. I'm 6'3" with over a 7-foot wingspan, so you can do the math on that one. But she's also, so what roles has she been in? Let's talk about Tigress and Kung Fu Panda, Diane Sanchez and Jessica and Rick and Morty. There's Starfire, Zatanna, Star Sapphire, and multiple DC animations. Beth and Captain Cosmia in Star Trek's Lower Decks, and I haven't even gotten to the rest of them. There's so many, honestly. That's not even the surface. That's like the very tip of the cherry that's on top of the whipped cream and everything else. There's so much underneath that. She has just a fantabulous resume, and yes, I made up a word. But we are thrilled to welcome Kari Wahlgren to the FSF Podcast. Welcome to the show, Kari.
Thanks for having me. And this is a good time to say again how much I love the movie Spaceballs.
It's a fantastic movie. And I will tell you, Tim, I will tell you that your made-up word made you sound very smartalicious.
Sweet.
Oh, I
always wanted to be educational. So.
Oh.
But did you guys? So before we get into any questions or anything, did you guys hear that they're making a Spaceballs 2 with Josh Gad in the lead?
I don't know if I heard this.
They just announced it yesterday.
Just announced, yeah.
Wait, is Rick Moranis coming back for this? Did I hear this somewhere?
I don't know, but I hope to God he is. He has to be dark.
There is speculation he might be.
God, I hope so.
Listen, I don't mind if this is on the record. I had the biggest crush on Rick Moranis, and Spaceballs was definitely one of the reasons why. He just had that cute, nerdy.
That's Darth Vader, but all the same. But
it counts. It still counts. So yes, those of us who love Rick Moranis would be very, very excited to see him come back for that sequel.
Absolutely. Just even in that commercial he did for Ryan Reynolds and I think it was Mint Phone a year or two ago was fantastic. Yeah, that was fantastic. Right. It was so cool to see him. So, all right. So, Kari, one of the staples our show has been kind of known for, I guess, at least in my own mind, is that we like to find out what makes people tick, to know who they are, why they do what they do. Some people would call it an origin story. Those people would be nerds. We are the nerds. So we are in search of a good origin story always. So in the story of Kari Wahlgren, what were the influences that made you want to become a voice actor and have this as your chosen profession?
Man, the origin story starts early because I guess when I was 5 years old, I always loved cartoons. I always loved comic books. I would check out compilations of Wonder Woman and Batman graphic novels from the library. In fact, I checked out the Wonder Woman one so many times that it fell apart. And so when I was 5 years old, I actually told my parents that one day I wanted to be the voice of a Disney princess. And they kind of went, okay. I don't know if they really thought that was a job that you could get, but it was on my radar from that early that I wanted to do voiceovers for cartoons. And so as I got older, I was hugely influenced not only by the Disney princesses, but when I got a little bit older, Batman the Animated Series was a huge influence on me. And I actually went to the library and checked out some book about Warner Brothers, and I wrote a letter to Andrea Romano, who did the voice directing and the casting for Batman the Animated Series, and I said, I'm Kari Wahlgren, and one day I'm going to move to Los Angeles, and I love your voice directing, and I hope we get to work together someday. And many, many years later, when I got cast in Ben 10 as Charmcaster, I showed up at the recording session, and she was the voiceover directors. So I was trying so hard not to just burst into tears because it felt like one of those full circle moments.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So it was very, very emotional. And she was just as fantastic and wonderful as I ever hoped she could be. So I don't know. So I guess that's it's basically the cliche of girl from Kansas gets on the bus and moves to the big city. Because I literally lived in Kansas pretty much my entire life. And then I moved out to Los Angeles to pursue my dream of becoming a voice actor. And here we are. So
awesome.
Nice.
So when you got to work with her, did you tell her about the letter that you had written as a kid?
Oh, no. No. I was trying so hard to be professional and, try to do a good job and everything. So I think much later somebody told her. So I think she knows now. And the letter never got there because, it was probably a letter to a random Warner Brothers office or something like that. But wow, it was one of those defining moments of feeling like my inner child was gonna explode.
You're so much more professional than me because I would have run up and I'm like, hi, I'm Tim. I totally wrote your letter. And I'm so glad to have you here today. And this is awesome. And by the way, I'm totally going to nail this voice. It's going to be so good. You're going to want to cast me and everything. That's what I would have done.
I was trying so hard not to cry. Like that's how overwhelmed I felt. And I didn't expect it, but it was so overwhelming that I was trying very hard just not to have tears.
See, I get hyper in those situations. When I get nervous, I start getting a little hyper, a little antsy, and I start talking really fast. And I wonder where my daughter gets it from. But
I don't wonder at all.
Yeah.
Can't figure that one out at all.
But that's going to be like your own real Disney princess moment. That is the happily ever after dreams do come true sort of full circle moment.
Well, and you know what? If I can share one more,
absolutely
gratuitous full circle moment. It was such a big event. It used to be, I don't know, maybe you guys are too young, but it used to be an event for Disney cartoon movies. Like only one would come out, not even every year. It would be something that would be years in the making. And, you'd see an ad, you'd see trailers and stuff like that. And it would be something that was going to be coming out in 2 years.
Yeah.
So, I would just wait with bated breath for those movies and everything. And so The Little Mermaid was a huge one for me. And years later, they did Little Mermaid 3, Ariel's Beginning. And I got cast as one of Ariel's sisters, Atina. And so they had a blue carpet event and Jodie Benson was there. So
boy.
I know, Kathleen, you feel it, right?
I'm getting goosebumps over here. Oh man.
So we're walking this blue carpet and they have bubble blowers. So like little bubbles are floating through and Jodie Benson is there. And again, I get too shy to really say too much, but I was just, standing over there.
Oh man.
Not to cry.
That's amazing.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's a cool
so
story.
my inner 5-year-old was like just dying.
Fair.
Oh yeah, no, I can totally. I would be exactly the same way in those situations. It would be just that complete disbelief, and oh man, that would be so cool. Right? So cool.
Yeah. Go ahead, Kathleen. Go ahead.
No, you're fine.
I was just going to say I read some great quote somewhere of do things that would make your inner 12-year-old really happy, or that something that your inner 12-year-old would be really stoked about. And we're really lucky in this job sometimes that we get to do things that our inner 12-year-old is very stoked about. So
yeah.
Ta-da.
Ta-da! I know.
That's why we do this, because this is mostly my inner 12-year-old going, hi, I'm Tim. You want to be on my show? So yeah.
I love it.
We've had a lot of those moments of the episode by episode through this podcast, healing our inner child with the I get to talk to this voice actor from this show, and yeah,
I love that. I love that.
Yeah,
I especially for me, I think the biggest one was we interviewed Armin Shimmerman, who's Quark on Deep Space Nine.
I love Armin.
I love Armin so much.
crazy that I was just thinking about him the other day because
He's the absolute sweetest.
he's the sweetest. And for anybody out there that doesn't know, he's an amazing Shakespearean actor.
Mm-hmm.
And he does some Shakespearean coaching. And so I
Yes.
was just thinking the other day, man, I got to reach out to Armin about some Shakespeare coaching. So
He
go.
is so amazing. And like
He and
when we
Judy are
interviewed
fantastic.
him the first time, it was around the first anniversary of my dad dying. And we talked about it in the show because my dad is who got me into Star Trek. And so he's like, well, at the end of the show, he's like, I want to send autograph pictures. Who can I send a picture to? And I'm like, will you send one to my mom? Like, and he did. And it is framed and in front of our family picture. It's the first thing you see when you walk into my mom's house.
I love that so much. That's really
She
wonderful.
put it in
I love how your mom's like, screw my family. I have Armin Shimerman.
Well, duh.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Oh my gosh, that's a great story.
He's amazing. He's absolutely amazing.
He's a lovely person.
Kari, I was realizing, and I didn't realize it until I looked at your IMDb, that your voice is almost a daily occurrence in my house.
Oh,
like,
thank you, or I'm sorry.
No, mostly it's okay. because of my daughter. I mean, Tiny Chef, Pupstruction, Super Kitties, Tiny Toons University, those are all on the regular rotation of things that she watches. And it was so funny as I'm like, wait a minute. Hey, Honora, she's that character. Hey, she's that character. And she's like, whoa.
Oh my gosh.
How does she do all those voices? I'm like, I don't know, but I can ask her how she does all those different voices. But I also really like asking voice actors, where is the most unexpected place that you've ever heard your voice?
Oh my gosh, that I've heard my voice. Gosh. Okay, well, I have a little kiddo, and he got sick. He got he was feverish, and he was, had runny nose and stuff like that. So I had to take him to urgent care. And I was sitting in the lobby of urgent care waiting to go in, and I hear this voice, and I'm like, I think that's me. And they're playing Spidey and Friends.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
TV in the lobby of this children's urgent care, and my character had popped up. So that was probably one of the strangest, bizarre things.
I can imagine that would be really weird. Like,
yeah.
But is it still weird for you to hear your characters? Is it
always?
Yeah.
It's always very kind of yeah. I always kind of do a double take of like, wait a second, is that and it's such a tight knit community that I can recognize so many other of my friends' voices too. So I'll be cooking or something, or I'll be in another room and I'll be like, oh, that's John DiMaggio, or that's some other person I know, and so it is very funny to just have that Rolodex now of voices that you hear.
Yeah, it was funny. You had posted a picture on your Instagram as well. As I was just perusing, and there's this picture of you with David Arrigo and Bob Bergen and Debbie Derryberry and Tara, and I'm like, I want to be friends with them.
It's so great. I mean, literally, so much has gone remote now. I mean, we used to record, especially for animated projects, we used to record as groups a lot more, and then COVID hit, and so much has gone, like 99.9% has gone remote.
Mm-hmm.
So when we have chances like that to actually get together, it's like blah, 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 just
I know.
so fun to catch up. Yeah, it's pretty great.
So you're thinking, I want to be friends with them, and I look at that picture of like, ooh, possible guest. Need it, got it, need it.
Right? Yes. That was the thing too. Is I showed my phone to my husband. I'm like, he's been on my show. He's been on my show. She's going to be on my show. I want her on my show.
Nice. There you go. Well, you're ticking them off one by one. Glad to add to the list.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, so Kari, here's a two-part question for you. Mostly because I can, but also because I did some light stalking, or what I like to call research, on your Instagram page.
Okay, great.
As we both
Uh,
already admitted, we looked at your Instagram now.
yeah,
I love it. I'm always trying to see if I can get surprised by a question. So we'll see.
yeah. So you have many posts of yourself at Comic Cons, meeting the fans, walking the floors, looking at the art that people make, or all these different things. And every one of your posts, you just seem to be generally having a good time. So as I was watching you walk through on some of your posts, the thought I had was, because I know when I go to Comic Cons, there's a few different things that I look for. You know,
Funkos.
I good deals on Funkos because there might be a thing behind me.
Nice,
Um,
one or two.
yeah, there's one or two back there. Shush, Kathleen. And then and I look for different drawings, artwork, small things that I can mount on the walls here around the shop. So my question for you is, what's the coolest piece of Comic-Con, whether it's art or there was a gadget, a gidget, whatever it was? What is the coolest thing that you've ever gotten for yourself at Comic-Con?
Ooh, for myself.
For yourself, you walked through and you saw this at somebody's table and you said, oh, that's cool, I have to have that. Whether it's something that was of you or something of one of your,
Oh man.
one of your favorite fandoms.
I mean, listen, there have been things that have been gifted to me at
Where?
conventions that are pretty amazing. Speaking of Funko Pops, there was a fan that made a Kari Wahlgren Funko Pop. So it was me
Very cool.
as a Funko with my 3 cats and my bass guitar and my microphone. And
Nice.
that was pretty amazing. Now, as far as something that I've bought for myself, okay, this is probably not the coolest thing that I bought for myself, but it is one of the first things that comes to mind, is that I
Okay.
got this R2D2 t-shirt, and it's got the AC/DC logo on it, but it says R2D2, and it says for those about to beep.
Okay.
I
want that.
Okay, for a hot second, I was like, oh my God, am I going to have to explain this? Do they not know?
Oh, no. Oh, no,
No.
I totally get it.
So I had to have that one. That one was,
Oh,
I
yeah.
get goosebumps thinking about that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I have R2D2 earrings that I got at, it wasn't at a con, it was at a festival, but
Oh, nice.
they're
Yes.
super cute. I love them. R2D2 is the best.
He's super cute. And that t-shirt combined my love of rock and nerdery.
Oh, that's awesome.
Perfect way. So
I have an ADHD one with the Highway to Squirrel.
what? Okay. That's a close second. I'm going to say, Kathleen, that's a close second of awesomeness.
When I saw that one, it was the and mine.
And mine. Yep.
Understood.
Yep.
All right, Kari, rather. Kathleen can wait. I'll talk to her later. The second part of my 2-part question: why are these Comic-Cons so important to you as an actor?
I in the past, I've never gone to very many because I actually get a little social anxiety. Like they're so
Fair.
Some of them are so big, and I'm actually very introverted in my day-to-day life. But voiceover, I've said this kind of in the past, voiceover can be a very solitary job. You are recording, you have maybe an engineer on the other side of the glass and a voice director. And now, because everything is remote, you're in a room by yourself and you're on Zoom, maybe with a couple people. And sometimes it's very hard to know if your work has reached anyone or to know if you've had any sort of effect on people. And so I had some people kind of encouraging me to go out and do more conventions. And so I really made a point this year to start going to a lot more. And, I had started in the last couple of years. COVID obviously brought that back. But so I started going to more of them because I just kind of wanted to do outreach, basically meet the fans, kind of interact a little bit more. And it's been wonderful. It's been really gratifying because you always meet wonderful people and you always get these stories that make you want to cry because you just don't realize how your work actually goes out there and affects people until you meet these people. And they have these stories that, like, I can't even talk about them too much right now or I will tear up. But,
Yeah, I get it.
relationships that have been fostered or, meaningful moments that families have had because of a cartoon that they watched or something like that. So the conventions have been very, very meaningful in that way.
Yeah, that's awesome. We've had some really great stories come through from different people who go to Comic Cons with any regularity, and the different interactions that they've had with different fans. Because one character that they've done has really stood out to that person.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go into it because I will cry.
You will.
Yeah.
But the one that stands out to me the most is Cal Dodd's story of a gentleman who was Cal Dodd is the voice of Wolverine for X-Men '97.
Okay.
And he has just the brief synopsis is a story of a man who was mostly nonverbal, autistic, and him and his son both were autistic, and they did not like physical touch. And anyway, but this guy gave Cal a hug.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. There's much more to it. That's the basics. Much more than that, and I'm gonna start complaining about the onion center.
You're doing it. Stop doing
I
it.
love it.
Yeah. And there's so
good.
many cool there's so many cool stories like that where we hear of fan interactions, and I love to see that for the fans, because I mean, honestly, if I ever got a chance to meet Harrison Ford, I would basically be a puddle at his feet, telling him about everything and the reason why I love him as an actor and what his work has meant to me over the years, and that I named my son after him. And
Oh my gosh.
well, not completely. I mean, it was his middle name, but it's all the same.
That's cool. Oh.
I snuck that one into my wife. Yeah. So
Are you kidding? I love it. And he's my birthday twin, by the way. Just
that's cool.
on a completely random note. So it's always kind of sweet because, every year sometimes you'll get emails or something like, who you share a birthday with. And every year it's like Harrison Ford. Oh. Yay.
That's cool.
Nice.
And it was like, I'm jealous. He's not my birthday twin.
Completely random, but there you go.
I have nobody cool on mine. It's stupid.
I don't know. We're gonna look that up later.
I find her Martin Sheen, Tony Bennett, and Martha Stewart.
Okay, those are some legit. I have some good.
Looking it up now.
Like Patrick Stewart. I share Patrick Stewart, Harrison Ford, and in the voiceover world, Tom Kenny, the voice of SpongeBob, and I have the same birthday.
Ooh.
So, yeah, so it's kind of a fun thing. I don't know how I got off on this tangent.
It happens.
Anyway.
It happens. It happens to the best of people. They try to come on the show, keep it in a straight line, and we're like, "Ooh, look, a squirrel!" It happens.
Squirrel.
So
yeah,
it happens. Apparently, Miley Cyrus. That's my.
There you go. Okay.
And Jane Fonda and Boris Karloff. Those are my three.
Boris Karloff.
Boris Karloff is cool to me. I'll take that one.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. I used to have, talking about going off on a squirrel, I was obsessed with old movie monsters.
Oh, yeah.
And so many, many years ago, this was another influence in my life that probably led me to voiceover. But they came out with stamps of some of the classic movie monsters. And so I had them framed. And so I had Boris Karloff up on my wall for many, many years.
I have my Boris Karloff DVD collection down there. Like, I have a box set of Boris Karloff.
I feel like you're my people.
We try. Welcome to the nerdery.
I love it.
So, Kari, you actually already touched on this question a little bit, but I wanted to go a little further because, again, I looked at your Instagram, and as amazing as all of your fan interaction pictures are, there was one picture that stopped me absolutely dead in my tracks because my brain went, "Ooh, kitty." I need you to tell me about your cats because I'm a crazy cat lady and I love them already.
Oh my gosh. Okay, how much time do we have? I'm gonna try to reel it in. I have 3 cats. two of them are brother and sister, Ruby and Jackson, and the third one is Juju. And Juju was my partner's cat, but she was also a street cat. She was a feral. Okay. And he's a drummer. And so basically, Juju lived in the parking lot of his drum studio for 9 years. And so, on hot days, she'd crawl under the trash bin, and on other days, there'd be like a random box, and she'd crawl into the box and stuff like that. And she was just with this feral colony. And so my partner would feed them. And when he would go off on the road to tour, he would make sure that one of the other people at this place, he's like, feed the cats, okay? Just promise me you'll feed the cats. So one by one, this feral colony died off or disappeared until only Juju was left. And here's the other thing about Juju. Juju basically has 3 legs, and the fourth leg is like a peg leg. She doesn't have any toes, so it's like a little. And then they trapped her to fix her at one point, and they cut off the tip of the ear, and they got a little sloppy. So basically, she's got like half an ear missing and this little peg leg. So she's like a pirate cat.
Good, because I started covering my face laughing because all of a sudden I'm like, I'm Juju.
Yes! Juju is basically a pirate cat who lived on the street for 9, pushing 10 years. And out-survived her entire colony. And so then Bobby, my partner, was like, man, she can't live there all by herself. And so he scooped her up and he took her over to a friend's house, and she was getting bullied by the other cats at the friend's house. So I was like, well, you could bring her over here and I'll see if she'll, maybe be okay over here. She turned into the biggest love bug.
Oh,
I love it.
Now, like, she sees into my soul. You guys, I love this cat more than I can possibly say. So, yeah, she's.
Arg, it'd be time to cuddle.
Arg! It'd be time to cuddle.
Oh my goodness.
I'm doing that and engraving that.
I love that so much.
So, yes, if you see Juju on there anywhere, Kathleen, just know that she be my pirate kitty.
I love it.
I also have 3 cats. None of mine have that much fun of a story. I mean, my oldest cat is a Facebook rescue. Facebook Marketplace we have a bunch of kittens. And my mother-in-law went to go get one, and I'm like, I'm gonna just snag this one. This one's mine now. And she's my husband's studio cat. She will sit back and she just judges people. She just looks at you and judges. And it's like, I can tell that you're judging me. But she's also the sweetest. She is such a snuggle bug when it's her idea.
Love that. I love that she's judgmental too.
Like, she will just sit on the other side of the room and stare at you. And I'm like, I can tell what you're doing, Nymeria. Stop judging me. Like, Nymeria. She's named after a dire wolf in Game of Thrones.
Okay, that's amazing.
And then we have Ernest, who's my baby. He's my little tuxedo buddy. He's in a bunch of our episodes because he'll usually start crying at the door.
I'm surprised he hasn't already.
I know.
I'm a little sad.
He's got to just be in the middle of a nap. Is the only reason he's not back there. No. And then there is Bowser Jr., who is my daughter's cat, who last August walked up our driveway, started rubbing his cute little kitten self around my husband's ankles, and told us that he lives here now.
Oh my gosh.
Yay, cat distribution system.
Yeah.
Can I just say, because I'm so passionate about this, if anybody out there is even remotely considering getting a cat or a dog, please get a rescue. Please.
Yeah.
Please, there's so many pets that need good homes, and yeah. So
it's so hard too with Bowser because he was about 16 weeks old when we found him. Like, still had his kitten teeth. He still had teeth. I'm like, you are too little to be out there all alone, you poor little baby. But we live next to the fairgrounds. It was right after Fair Week. And the local farmers, if they have extra barn cats, will bring them to the fairgrounds at the end of Fair Week and just dump them.
No.
They will dump the extra farm cats because you've got a bunch of 4-H kids who've been there all week who are saying goodbye to their livestock, and then it's but mom, this kitten found me. Yep.
Oh man, that's a tough
one. Crazy that people do that.
That's a tough one. I mean, I just have so many friends that are involved in animal rescue, and man, they are doing,
and all of
work.
all of the local shelters by us are full.
Yeah.
Or are appointment only. So it's you have to wait until somebody's gone before there's room. And it's like, it's
hard. So I just can't encourage people enough that if you're thinking of getting a pet, just please don't go to, some puppy mill or something
don't
like
go
that.
to a pet store. There's responsible breeders out there. If you're looking for a specific breed of dog or cat, there's responsible breeders who do it the right way. And there are so many animals in shelters and who just need a good home.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to our PSA, everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Because out of our animals, 3 of our 4 animals are rescues. So our dog, our Pitty, is a rescue. We got our Corgi from a reputable breeder because my daughter, that was her request.
Okay.
And that was a request of her grandfather, and Grandpa came through, not realizing how much they were. But that was on him.
Yeah.
Toasty's worth it.
Yeah, Toasty's worth it. She's a cute little thing. Her name is Toast because her butt looks like a loaf of bread. And
she's beautiful, and I love her.
My heart.
And then we have 2 cats. We have our black cat, who came to my
sweetest baby ever.
Yeah, he's I call him my dog cat because he meow barks at me until I come pay attention to him.
Oh my gosh.
But his name is Vader, like Darth Vader.
Oh my gosh.
Because he's all black, has this big white box on his chest, and he's a bit of a jerk at times.
No, he's not. He's a sweet baby.
No, he's a bit of a jerk at times. He really
loves
is.
Me.
And then we have another cat who's just a big fluff ball. His name is Seven because he's polydactyl. He's got 7 toes on each of his front paws. So he looks like when he's running, his paws are like this. It looks like he's got giant mittens on.
Oh my gosh.
He came to us through the cat distribution system. He showed up on our back deck, was just in really, really rough shape, just absolutely flea ridden.
And he is a cloud.
And he's just a big old cloud puffball. He just wants love unless you're one of the neighboring birds, and you do not stand a chance. He is the best hunter I've ever seen. He, like the other day, he brought a woodpecker to our deck.
Oh wow.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's kind of impressive.
Yeah. There's always if
cats after this, by the way. This is making me want to cuddle my cats really badly.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. So the only other story I have with my cats, my rescues. So Ernie is also technically a rescue. A friend of mine fostered his mom after she was found abandoned in an apartment building. That somebody had left the faucet running just enough that there was running water and left her when they moved out of the apartment.
Why, people?
I don't know.
People are jerks.
Somebody, a friend of a friend had found her and took her to the animal shelter, and the animal shelter's like, she's pregnant, so if we take her, we have to abort the kittens, or you can take her and foster her. And that the friend of a friend was like, I don't know anything about fostering a cat. Here, Anna, you take her. And so my friend Anna and her roommate at the time, Stephanie, ended up fostering this mama cat who then had 6 kittens, and I got Ernie from them. And it was hard to choose which one of the kittens I wanted because she also had polydactyl kittens.
Oh my god.
And I wanted a polydactyl, but I wanted a polydactyl tuxedo. And Ernie was the only true tuxedo in the litter. There was another one that was polydactyl, but he was a tuxedo but had the tabby markings. And I'm like, but I want the true tuxedo. And Ernie he's my soul cat. There's no ifs and buts. I love Seven.
Oh my gosh, you guys, literally, this is making my day. This is completely making my day.
Awesome. All right, let's back on the rails. Here we go. An attempt anyway.
Squirrel.
All right,
Sorry.
exactly. It was a good squirrel time. That's fun. All right, so Kari, you've also recorded voices for all of my major nerdiverses: Star Wars, Star Trek, Marvel, DC. You've checked all those boxes, and that's again, is that
Yep.
Nern?
Ernie, all
Okay,
stretched out, napping with me. So, like, there you go. Now you can
nice.
see it.
Yeah. I'm loving on Ernie.
He's
But
amazing.
Yes.
and that just kind of scratches the surface of the shows and the games that your voice has helped give life to. But is there a nerdiverse out there that you haven't voiced yet that you would love to be part of? Like, I went through your resume, and I don't know if you can tell, but this finger is now sprained because I was scrolling for so long. And but I didn't see anything on there that was Lord of the Rings related, unless IMDb lied, and they do that sometimes. IMDb are liars. I mean, but I just wondered, is there anyone out there that you go, I haven't worked in this one yet?
Well, that's interesting. I hadn't really thought about it, but I don't know that I've done something Lord of the Rings specifically in that franchise. So I guess
Right.
that'd be something on there. The big one for me would be Gem and the Holograms.
Oh
I
yeah, I
mean,
remember them.
yeah, for my retro kid uh growing up self, that was the cartoon that was on that I loved, and the dolls came out and
Sure.
everything. So I had some of the dolls, and it was crazy because you'd buy the dolls and you'd get a little cassette tape with
Hmm.
two of the songs. You get the theme song from the TV show and then one other song that would be on the cartoon. So if they ever reboot that or something, yeah, I'd love to do that one.
Perfect.
That would be.
I like that answer. I like the fact that it has a throwback to your childhood. That's
Oh
fantastic.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So we had already talked about going to the conventions and things, but then I was thinking about it a little bit more. So, of all of your character voices, which one are you most recognized for? Do you think?
It's kind of crazy. The very first anime character that I ever did was Haruko in FLCL, which is this anime show that was 6 episodes long, and they aired it a ton, like in 2001, on Adult Swim and Toonami, and to this day, that is the one that I sign the most of at conventions, and the thing that people,
Hmm.
I mean, I there's lots of other things that people come up and ask about and stuff like that, but that first character was still the one that people come up and mention all the time. And the funny thing is that now I'm old enough that people are saying you were the voice of my childhood, or and that FLCL, for those of you that don't know it, it's a metaphor for puberty. So it's this really crazy 6 episode anime show about this kid that suddenly it's almost like something comes riding out of nowhere and hits him on the head, and all these crazy things start happening, and
Sounds
and
like puberty.
it's, yeah, exactly. So it's a very bizarre, crazy, zany anime with these unexpected little pops of vulnerability and heart. And so I've had a lot of people come up at conventions and say, man, that was my gateway into anime. I watched
Interesting.
that when I was way too young and I shouldn't have been watching it. Uh, so I was like, yes, I've corrupted another one. Uh,
Got him.
yeah, so it's been kind of interesting that a role that was so at the beginning of my journey was inspired a lot of other people to go on that anime journey.
Is there a role that you have that you wish got more attention?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's always a lot of roles out there that I wish got a little bit more attention. I mean, Legion of Superheroes, I just loved that whole world. And, I've gotten to play Saturn Girl now in a few different iterations of things. And Saturn Girl just, man, I just love her. I love her as a character. And so I wish people got that signed a little bit more. And
Yeah.
I don't
That's fair. All right. Very cool. Well, kids, you heard it here. You know who to ask for
know.
now.
She's
All right.
on Young Justice. She's on Young Justice. So if that's
Awesome.
an easy place to jump in.
There you go.
Love it.
All right, Kari, it's time for our silly question.
Oh. Okay.
So the reason this came up is that Kathleen, as we've mentioned, has a young daughter, and people ask her daughter this all the time. But Kathleen thought it was kind of rude. They never asked her, and I was like, "You're right. It is rude. They should have asked you too." So Kari Wahlgren, what's your favorite dinosaur?
Oh my gosh. This is the best question ever. I'm okay. I think I'm going to have to go a little bit run of the mill here and say the T-Rex.
Okay.
Because I actually love the T-Rex so much that I have a purse, and it just looks like this like very just generic brown purse, but it's got little tiny T-Rexes all over it. I wish I had it right here and I would show it to you. And I get compliments on that purse every single day of my life
That's
because
cool.
yeah. And the thing I love so much about T-Rexes that make me laugh is that they look so intimidating and just like scary and stuff like that. And that
Tiny little arms.
tiny
Meet
little
Robinson.
arms.
I got
Yes.
a big head, little arms.
Yes. And I'm like, how
Oh,
does he tie his shoes? How? So I always imagine the T-Rex looking down and there's some other dinosaur coming over and Velcroing his shoes. So
you know, there's a shirt I saw recently that you would love because it's a T-Rex, but it's got those little handy grabber things, and it says, "I'm unstoppable."
oh my God, I love that. Yeah, I absolutely love that. I want a little T-Rex t-shirt where the T-Rex is just going. Anyway.
T-Rexes are great though, and you
They're
know what's funny?
great.
It's like growing up watching Jurassic Park, and they're so scary.
They're
And
so
then-
scary.
They're so scary. But then, have you heard like what they think that they would have actually sounded like now?
I don't know if I have.
So
It's on YouTube. It's worth looking up.
it is worth looking up. But
Okay.
scientists have decided that because of their neck structure, that their vocal cords would have been similar to a bird's. And so they're thinking that the T-Rex just sounded like a giant goose.
Like a
Okay.
big, giant, angry goose.
That is even more amazing. That's even more amazing.
But can you imagine being in the forest and hearing the thump, thump, honk?
Honk. It's like, ah, man. It's Todd the T-Rex.
And you thought Canadian geese were bad. So,
Oh.
you know.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
Canadian geese are evil.
That's the first time I've ever been asked that in an interview. That actually makes me really happy that you asked
Isn't
me
it
that.
such a great question, though?
I so wish I had my purse down here. You guys don't understand how much I love this purse. Just if you do a Google search for ModCloth T-Rex purse, you're gonna see what my purse looks like.
Okay.
Just saying to everyone out there,
Ooh,
right?
so cute.
It's so cute, and it's been sold out forever, so I can't buy another one.
Poshmark.
And I gotta find it on Poshmark or something.
There's one currently available on Poshmark.
Note to everybody out there: T-Rex purse.
Into the private chat. There you
Mhm.
go.
I'll be looking up this later. I love it.
I'm an enabler.
What's it? That's my purse.
I love it so much. It's so cute.
Yeah, you guys, I'm not even joking. It's a pretty awesome purse.
It's really cute.
Thank you for everybody out there's like, why is she talking about her purse? But it's a T-Rex purse, you guys. It's amazing.
It's
You mean
so
this one?
cute.
Yes, that's my purse. And if you zoom in, it's a
Look
T-Rex.
at the tiny T-Rexes.
Anyway, thank you guys for for sharing that. Oh.
So
Hey,
cute.
no problem. It's what we do.
Oh, Kari, thank you so much for being on the show with us today. Where can our viewers and our listeners go to find out more about you and the things that you've got coming that you probably can't talk about yet?
Yes, I have a number of things coming up that I can't talk about yet, but I'm very excited about them. So please follow me for more details on that. It's at Kari Wahlgren, and I think you guys will have it up there on the screen. So it's just at Kari Wahlgren on Instagram, which kind of is where I have the most fun. So Instagram is probably my favorite, but I'm also on the artist formerly known as Twitter, and TikTok, Facebook official. I've got a page, Kari Wahlgren official on that. So yeah, you can follow me at any of those places, and I love to hear from people. It actually makes me really happy. So please drop a note.
Perfect.
And yes, those are all going to be linked right there in the video description below, because that's what we do. We want to share.
right.
We want to have people enjoy the nerdery.
Please.
Exactly.
And we got off on the squirrel track of talking about our kitties.
Mhm.
So if you actually want to, hear more about my voiceover stuff and some of the characters I played, you can find a lot more of it on social.
Perfect. So, hey guys, yeah, remember that subscribing is the single most important thing you can do to help our show to continue to grow. Get amazing guests like Kari Wahlgren here to come on and share stories with us and talk about her cats and all kinds of fun stuff for you guys to be able to enjoy. So go check her out on her socials, give her a follow, because there's stuff coming up that you're not going to want to miss. And I know that I'm excited to continue to see what she's doing, because that's why we had her here today, because she has such a cool resume and there's so many cool things that she's done. Honestly, we could have like a 12-part series on just the first like 4 years of her career. So, and again, go check her out. Check out Kari's work. You will not be disappointed in what you find. And Kari, thank you so much for being on the FSF podcast today.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
All right, guys, that's going to wrap us up for the FSF podcast.
Yay!
Copyright 2024 FSF Podcast. Reference any specific product or entity mentioned on this podcast does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by FSF Podcast. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. If you have any questions about this disclaimer, please contact us via email at info@fsfpodcast.com.